Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network, for the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews. Press 1. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. From the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network for movie talk, and the schmoes know, this is Box Office Breakdown. Information and commentary on weekly movie box office.
Hello, everybody, and happy Halloween episode at Box Office Breakdown. It is November, but we're going to celebrate Halloween because
Yes.
I want to.
We can see that.
I think we can get rid of these now because
we don't want to wait and make
don't
up
want
on
to
that.
hold headphones in my hand all day.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Let me ask you, Ace, and by the way, everybody, Ace is filling in today
Hello, guys.
for
Hi.
Mr.
Hi.
Finstock.
Yes, I'm here.
Finstock had a very important meeting. He couldn't make it. It's not just the Mets game. I know that you're probably thinking.
You should all attack him and
Yeah.
say that it was just the Mets
Tweet
game.
him, be like, where are you at, Finstock? But you know what? We got Ace here, the man with the plan.
Yep.
Look at that. Look at that.
Whoa.
Wow.
I felt so
You're
included.
so loved.
Yeah.
So loved
wow.
here.
Can I ask you one thing, Ace?
Yeah.
We're walking into the building today. Sarah pulled up.
Yeah.
And we saw her amazing costume. What was the first thing you thought when you saw the costume?
First thing I thought when I saw the costume, I thought, wow, Sarah really wants to celebrate Halloween for today's box office breakdown.
Two things.
I just never want it to end.
Yeah.
Two things that are in my mind. One, the very Matrix jacket.
It's versatile.
Yeah, it's very versatile.
Versatile costumes.
And for some reason, I immediately went to Karate Kid. Remember they're all dressed as skeletons,
Oh.
right?
That
And
is
So
true.
I was like, wait,
Do you just
what
think
is
of me
this?
as like an evil person?
No.
I also thought Dia de los Muertos, because that's between...
You know, I'm just blending everything.
You're somewhat Latina, right?
Yes.
A little bit Latina.
I
There's a
mean,
little
so,
Latina
like,
there.
But I celebrated Halloween more than I celebrated
La
Dia de los
Guitarra.
Muertos.
La Guitarra.
that
Which
will
that
not
doesn't
end.
make any
Doesn't make
sense.
sense.
Doesn't make
Doesn't
any
make
It
sense.
does. I'll explain it to you later.
But
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, look.
Yeah.
Great.
I mean,
Is
the
this your
jacket.
Halloween costume?
This is literally just a Macho Man shirt. We're at Kamikaze earlier today.
Yep.
And everyone there was a costume, so we didn't really have an excuse not to wear one.
No, I mean, I had a costume on yesterday.
Yes, you did.
I cosplayed as Elliot from Mr. Robot, for
Yeah.
anyone who gets that reference.
And he kinda looks like him already?
I kind of look like him, which I kind of don't.
Are you
but
familiar with
everyone
that
tells me I do.
no.
No,
No.
okay.
It's a great
show. I haven't watched it either, but I know the character. And
Yeah.
like when I saw him yesterday, I said, it looks like Mr. Robot, but I didn't realize he was trying to pull it off.
Yeah.
It just looked like he was Mr. Robot.
One of my favorite Halloween experiences is I know this guy, and it's so funny. He dresses up as all of his friends, and he takes someone's year. So like last year, he was one of his friends,
No
and
way.
he like copies like how they hold themselves, and he'll like take their clothes, and a lot of them have like tattoos, so he'll like draw their tattoos on
awesome.
him.
No
It's
way.
so funny.
That's hilarious.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, real quick, let me tell you how Josh
Yep.
JTE got me on the show.
Yeah.
So
let's go ahead. Let's tell this story.
All right, so we're at Kamikaze, we're walking the floor, and he's like, "Oh no, Finstock can't be on the show." And he's like, "Copster, can you do the show today?" And Copster's like, "No, I can't do the show
can't
today."
do it.
And then he turns to Cody, "Cody, can you do the show today?" And Cody's like, "No, I can't do the show." And the whole time I'm standing right next to JT, like right next to him,
Okay.
like right here. And then just we're at the Schmoes panel,
Yeah.
which we have to talk about as well.
Yep.
And there's panelists coming in, and he's just random passerby
That's not
panelists. He's
true.
like, "Hey, you want to be on the show?"
No.
Well, it felt like that.
So-
But anyways, he's like, well, maybe we can get Roxy on the show. Roxy can't be on the show. And then finally he's like, well, we're walking to the Metro, and he's like, "Hey, Ace, do you want to be on the show?" And I'm like, I guess, man. I'm like the fifth person.
Yeah.
that he asked.
So we have a lot of like hate mail to send out today. We
Yeah.
need to send some hate mail to Tom for not showing up.
Yep.
Some hate mail to JTE for not trusting an Ace.
Yeah,
I'm
I just-
automatically.
He's like,
Yeah.
looks at me, looks past me, the guy over me.
I just immediately go to people I know that host other shows.
Yeah.
So, because,
That's fair.
I know it's a little bit of fill-in, and I mean, Ace is still fairly new to
I'm
the
new.
whole hosting thing.
Yep.
But I'm glad we can, kind of break you through to the
Yeah,
hosting.
just breaking me right in.
Break-
So,
Yeah, we will have to
fine.
get to the actual hosting. We're going to
Yeah.
do numbers in just a second. But first, we're going to send some information. Winners.
Yes,
Yeah.
We
last
have
week.
very
Oof.
active, wonderful fans.
Yeah.
No
and
winners
they
on this
tend
panel.
to beat us at predictions pretty much all the time. So winners for last week for Our Brand is Crisis. The winner is Julius Grusas. For Burnt, we have Hayden Claiborne. For Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, Jacob Henson. And we're not completely alone because no one went 5 for 5
Yeah.
this weekend, which might be due to the pretty horrible numbers that the box
Yeah.
office is showing.
I mean, last year was like not last year. Last weekend, we said this like, all right, Halloween party's already starting. There's nothing really great. A lot of stuff last week kind of sucked.
No one was going to ditch a Halloween party to go to any of these movies.
Exactly. Especially, and here in LA, we had Kamikaze. I go to movies every weekend. And because of Kamikaze this weekend, I just, all our friends were doing panels. We were in a panel today. So I just didn't even have time to go to movies. But then I looked at, there was one point last night, right? I thought about maybe going to see a movie last night. Then I pulled up my phone and I started looking at what was playing. I said, there's nothing I want to see that I haven't already seen.
Well, I would say most people agreed with you, because out of the opening movies, like, we had 3 new movies last weekend, and only one of them made the top 5, and it didn't even take a top spot. It took the 5th spot. So starting off the list is Burnt. Coming in at number 5, and bringing in a whole $5 million from those 3,000 theaters.
That's
Bradley
not good.
Cooper.
Wow.
What were you doing? No, I'm just kidding. It's not his fault.
I mean, who wants to see a cooking movie?
That's what I was gonna say too. Like, it's a cooking movie that
yeah.
the marketing for it was kind of bland too. I mean, bland cooking.
I mean, I understand it's more for adults.
Just going for
I'm
the
trying,
spices.
guys. I'm trying. It's my
It
first time
wasn't
hosting.
spicy enough.
I'm trying.
It wasn't spicy.
Had a kick to it. It might have done better. So yeah, Burnt came. We'll get back to that later. Came to us from Weinstein. Hotel Transylvania 2, sticking in the top 5.
Yeah.
It came from Sony. It brought in another almost 6 million, 5.8. It's in its 6th week.
Yeah.
That's
so
amazing.
really hanging on.
Yeah.
Domestic gross 156 million.
Not too shabby.
And it's doing pretty well overseas as well. So going up to Bridge of Spies, Tom Hanks, Spielberg bringing in another 8
Number 3
million.
again.
Yeah, hanging in there.
Been number 3
chilling.
for the last.
It's just hanging out.
It's like, we got 3. Don't worry about it.
We're just coasting through, bringing in. So it went up a couple theaters though, so it was pushing to stay number 3. Not really. And number 2, Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Bringing $10 million.
Again,
I
the
didn't
Halloween.
think Jack Black could do it, but I was wrong.
Yeah.
That's probably the Halloween movie that people were like, I guess this is our Halloween movie.
Yeah.
I guess this is all we have to see. So
They ain't seen the last Witch
And
Hunter.
Hotel Transylvania. I would have thought that Hotel Transylvania started too soon for the Halloween market.
but
it started 6 weeks ago, and I was like, why are you not coming out in October? This is why, because they were able to last this long.
Yep.
So it's just been adding.
Yeah.
Then, of course, taking the number 1 spot,
Back
The
in number 1.
Martian, bringing in 11.4 million. It's in its 5th week. So
it's weird because it's been number 1 so many times. Like, but it's made 182 domestic, and that's great and all. But all these weeks that it's been number 1, it's like making $10-11 million. Last week, like this week, Goosebumps and Martian are about $1 million off. It was the same thing last week. It was like $1 million between the two. Not even. It was like less than half.
But look at our top 5.
Yeah.
Of the top 5, The Martian's been out 5 weeks.
Yep.
Hotel Transylvania 6 weeks.
Yep.
Goosebumps and Bridge of Spies 3 weeks, and then we have 1 newcomer.
Yeah, and it's
that's
at $5 million.
unusual. We normally see at least 1 or 2 newcomers, then a couple people maybe in their second. You're not really, and maybe if there's a really good movie, or it's like Guardians of the Galaxy, it'll be up there weeks and weeks and weeks later.
Yeah.
6th and 7th, Last Witch Hunter and Paranormal Activity. They're making less than $5 million, and they're their 2nd week numbers. Our brand is Crisis, not coming in until number 8.
3.4.
3.4 million in 2,200 theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it shows that, at least people are going out to see good movies, though. Because, Last Witch Hunter got a bad vibe, Paranormal Activity got bad reviews.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Martian keeps getting good reviews, and people just keep going to see it. So.
I would say similar with Bridge of Spies.
Bridge of Spies as well.
And when you looked at last year, so Halloween weekend is never
A good year.
No.
A good time of the
It's really not your
Yeah.
for your heavy hitters unless you have a Halloween movie or something horror or whatnot. And last year, the number 1 movie was Ouija. Brought
really?
in, and it was in its 2nd week, and it brought in another almost 11 million. It brought in 10.7.
Not too bad.
So pretty comparable when
Yeah.
you're looking at this week bringing in 11.4.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Ouija definitely more Halloween oriented. Also, Nightcrawler opened.
That's right. Yes.
This Halloween weekend.
Huh.
Great reviews, but people really didn't flock out to see it. Only brought in 10.4.
Yeah.
And then you also had Fury, Gone Girl, and The Book of Life. Book of Life was Dia de los Muertos. You had that. You had Ouija. Nightcrawler had it kind of
At least
edge.
dark,
Gone
thriller.
Girl, same as well. Fury, well, it's war and it had a whole
Yeah.
Sony thing going on.
Yep.
So
Yeah. I think I saw Nightcrawler opening weekend last year. I was
Yeah, I
really
did too.
excited to see that movie.
It's
And it's
cr-
actually my favorite like movie of last year that wasn't like a big blockbuster movie. My favorite
I would
indie
agree.
movie of last year.
It was
I would
one of
say
my
Nightcrawler
favorites
was
too.
great.
It's
Yeah.
funny to think a Jake Gyllenhaal led movie that's not really for everybody. Very dark,
Very dark.
very serious. Not like a feel good or like not. I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal was good. He was pretty big at that point, but he wasn't huge. Like he was good amongst the indie people.
I think he had a name.
Yeah, he had a name, but not as much as Sandra Bullock. And for her to open a movie that's much more something that people
I
can
see where you're
easily
going with
see.
this.
Yeah, she
I
opens
see
with
where you're going.
3.3.
I see. So if we're comparing last year
Yeah.
Halloween, you have Nightcrawler, great reviews, but with someone like Jake Gyllenhaal bringing only 10.4,
Yeah, it's a
and
dark
same
movie.
weekend opening
Yep.
versus this year Sandra Bullock coming in, not making top 5, barely making top
Yes.
10.
We're talking about America's
not-
Sweetheart here. Like she's been on a roll ever since Gravity and
To be fair, our
Blindside.
band is Christ. Our brand is Christ.
I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
This
It-
title right here.
It's a terrible title, terrible marketing.
Yep.
The poster of correct me if I'm wrong. Is the poster of the movie just Sandra Bullock going like that?
Pretty much.
It's
That's
a
a lot
terrible
of. That's
poster.
exactly
It's
what.
literally she's like,
I
walking-
haven't
I
seen
don't
it.
want to be involved.
It looks like a terrible. I mean, it doesn't look like a good movie.
Yeah,
I'm surprised
yeah.
it's getting any positive.
I didn't
reviews.
love the trailer either.
The way
So-
that the marketing hits me, which is the subliminal way, it's like someone trying to avoid paparazzi.
Yeah.
But like instead of, I believe this is more of a crime, agenty type of role, which I think she tried to. It was originally written, I believe, for a man,
Yeah.
and she really tried to get this part.
Yeah, George Clooney changed the part for her. So
Yeah,
she can have it
Reggie was written
herself.
for him.
But I feel like subliminally, the message is like, I just feel like Kardashian status of like, you're just used to the socialites doing
Okay,
this.
yeah.
And like, that's how that image recognizes to me.
Huh,
So I'm like,
interesting.
oh, I don't care. I don't want to see it.
I just wonder if this opened at a different time, if it would have done that much better, or was it just? I mean, Sandra Bullock led film. You think it's going to do a little better than 3.4?
Or did they strategically plan this because
'Cause
it
they knew it
didn't
was
have
gonna
the
bomb?
best reviews, and they
Yeah.
wanted to be able to say, well, it was
Yeah.
Halloween weekend. It's never good.
It-
Pass it by. People aren't really thinking.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
looking at Burnt right now, if you look on Rotten Tomatoes, Burnt has 29%.
Yeah, that's not good.
Scout's Guide to Zombie Apocalypse, which is way down
Yeah.
there, has 31. Our Brand in Crisis has 32.
Yeah.
Those are all horrible.
Not
Yeah.
good.
And they're all put out on this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because we're talking about it right now, but the general public doesn't really remember the movies that come out Halloween weekend
Mm-hmm.
unless they're Halloween oriented.
Yeah.
Or if
So
they're good.
I feel like this is like camouflage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
they're
it-
not that great.
It didn't look like a good movie. It didn't look like an interesting
No.
movie. It
Mm-hmm.
just didn't attract me to go see this movie. Like I saw the trailer, I saw the marketing for it, and I just really didn't care at all for it.
But the two things I've heard from most people that have seen this movie, like the
Mm-hmm.
schmoes who were both reviewed it, they both enjoyed Burnt. They didn't think it was like a great movie, but they enjoyed it. They said the same thing about Our Brand's Crisis. Not a bad movie. They enjoyed it, but they're
I
not
agree.
like giving glowing reviews.
No.
And I believe I didn't. Like I said, I didn't get to see anything this weekend. Did you see anything this weekend?
Recent movies, Steve Jobs and then Macbeth.
Oh, you saw Macbeth already? All right, we're
How'd
gonna
you
talk
see-
about that in a second. And did you? So you? I know you didn't say this weekend.
I didn't.
I believe our engineer Marissa. You saw one of these movies. I believe. Is that right?
I saw Burnt. I liked it. I felt like it was a mix of Chef and 100-Foot Journey.
See, I've never seen 100-Foot Journey. What's that about?
I like both of those movies.
I like Chef. I've never seen
Chef
100-Foot
makes you
Journey.
hungry like crazy. 100-Foot Journey is kind of marketed to the same crowd as like Best Exotic Marigold Hotel.
Ooh,
Really? And
old
how's this
people?
compared to Burnt?
It is about. Well, I haven't seen Burnt yet,
Yes,
so I
that's
can't tell
true.
you.
Marissa.
But it's basically about a woman who owns like a Michelin
is that
star
with
restaurant.
Helen Mirren in it?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
and then
that's the one.
Okay.
across the street, and I believe Indian family moves in and starts up their own restaurant, and they're like
Yeah.
kind of competing. But the son from the Indian restaurant really has the chops to be an amazing chef, so he tries to be trained by the Michelin star.
Yeah,
Restaurant.
it's a very like romantic
Feel-good.
mom type movie. Because I remember they were playing that trailer during my mom watches The Bachelor, and she would watch the trailer to
Yep.
it, and they would play that.
Nice cover up there,
Yeah.
Chase.
My
It's
mom.
Sure, your mom.
It's my mom,
And you were
guys.
just not willingly
I was not
sitting
watching The
there
Bachelor
with
at
her.
all. When those trailers would come up and be like, "Go watch this movie," and it was a 100-foot journey. Remember that?
It is
So it's very much
very
catered
much
to that Bachelor
a
audience.
Feel good, which could
So.
be the problem with Burnt is who it's targeted to. Like looking at
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Burnt,
just
like,
adults.
the only people I know who want to see this movie really is my mom and her book club.
Oh, really?
Nothing against them.
Is it based on a book?
they're- I have no
Okay.
idea if that's who's
I
going.
was like,
But
Book club
Bradley
moms.
Cooper typically has a much larger demographic
yeah.
than that. He really, you can get teenagers in there, men,
Mm-hmm.
women. He has a really wide pool, but this doesn't seem to be targeted towards his
Well,
audience.
Yeah, this
No.
ain't American Sniper, Guardians of the Galaxy. This ain't. It's a very small adult indie kind of film.
But it's an indie, like, it's a very niche film, though. It's a
Yeah.
very specific type of audience that
Yeah.
a lot of people, I mean, I guess they didn't go out to see the movie, obviously, because it didn't make much money.
Mm.
But it's a very niche audience, like the foodie kind of.
me
audience.
Me talking personally, I just have no interest in chef
Me neither.
movies. I like Chef not because of the cooking. I like because of the cast.
Mm-hmm.
John Favreau's a director. I think he's a great writer too. Burnt. I see the trailer. I'm like, this is like Hell's Kitchen, the movie. Why do I want to see this?
I know. What else is interesting, before we move on to international numbers, things that Burnt and our brand as Crisis are currently not being so open about is their budgets.
Oh, that's
Like,
true.
it's
yeah.
not
This
really.
couldn't have been that much though, right?
I mean, I don't know how much Sandra Bullock's price tag
Oh, that's a
is,
good point.
Probably paid her a
Yeah.
lot of
or
money.
what their arrangements are,
Holy
because
moly.
you never know if they paid them up front or if there's a deal about how much it's made. But that could be why they're maybe not being so open. We'll see if anything comes out.
I wouldn't be
soon about
surprised if
that.
Sandra came back with another like romantic comedy with Ryan Reynolds or something, just to kind of bounce back,
These
go
aren't
into
going to
their
affect
wheelhouse.
their careers.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
No.
what was that movie that came out? Selena? Selena?
Selena?
Jennifer Lopez?
No.
Jennifer
What was
Lopez.
his name?
I love that movie.
Serena.
Serena, yes, with Jennifer
Right.
Lawrence and Bradley Cooper.
Cooper. They came out like last
Yeah,
year.
be-
Just
Oh,
disappeared.
it's like the old timey movie, right?
Yeah, it's because the studio put no
And people-
advertising behind it. They
And
just
they
wanted to
just
go
hid
away.
it. But
Yeah,
it doesn't hurt anyone's
Nope.
career when you're. They're
This-
fine.
but they're not hiding this movie like they were doing.
I
that
kind of
movie.
feel like they are. I mean, they're kind of. I feel like a week or two from now, they're gonna be like, "What? Our brand is what?"
What are we
What
doing?
movie?
I have no idea what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
She should do
Talk
Grav-
about American Sniper. That's
She
all
needs
you
to
did
do
this year.
Gravity 2.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk
Back
about
to space.
some international numbers.
Do it. Only one movie to really talk about here, but
Ooh.
let's get into it.
Well, we're gonna get to talk about it more next week when it
Yes.
starts getting into our theaters a little bit more. But internationally,
gangbusters.
Spectre scorched the box office records, taking in 80 million its opening week and
Nice.
enjoying the
Huge.
biggest UK debut in history.
History. I mean,
In history.
Bond, man.
Yeah.
He's Daniel Craig, bringing
It's a-
in some people.
It's a UK icon right there. Mm-hmm. So
So all told, Spectre earned a massive 63.8 million in its first 7 days of release in the UK, surpassing the previous record, which was held by Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
my favorite Harry Potter movie so far.
That's your
Really?
favorite
Yeah.
one?
He hasn't
I'm wa-
finished it yet, though.
I'm doing watching the Harry Potter movies for the first time thing, and yeah, I've never seen them. So
They should. The whole thing about Harry Potter is you kind of want them to grow as you go.
yeah, I'm going week by week. So
Gotcha.
that's all I got.
It's
But
fantastic. All right, so the picture, Spectre, also established a new IMAX record, now being the highest per location average in company history, with 105,000 in 47 theaters. It made $5 million from IMAX locations.
Wow.
Yeah, so
IMAX.
you know.
I mean, these are the kind of movies I want to see in IMAX.
Yeah, this
Big spectacle, great cinematography, and large action scenes. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that's how I'm going to see this movie. I mean, James Bond in the UK. Does this shock anybody?
No.
Not at all. And we'll see how that.
Skyfall did great too.
Knowing that it's already breaking records over there, we'll
Mm-hmm.
see how it does with records over here.
yeah.
That is going to be interesting. Spectre has already on Rotten Tomatoes 77%, and for an action bomb movie, that's
Pretty good.
Resonate really well, I think. On top of that, if you look at Daniel Craig's, like Skyfall domestically opened to 88 million. And made over 300 million domestically. So
Wow.
we're
Yeah,
gonna see
it's gonna make
if
good
it
money.
breaks.
I'm
What,
real.
what goes on
Yeah.
in the Spectre realm?
Not to mention, they're saying. I'll talk about it. I'm going to say it for later. Go
say
ahead.
it later?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going
Alright.
to save it.
Moving on to, let's just round up the rest of the international
Okay.
numbers list.
Okay.
Number 2, Hotel Transylvania 2 brought in another wow, I almost said 2 like 50 times in a row. 33.6 million. It opened in China. China has brought in like a third of that.
Oh, okay.
So
the
that's
best.
great.
Right.
They are the best.
Last Witch Hunter. Staying in
Yeah.
the charts abroad. Yeah, bringing
Interesting.
another 18.6
Not
million.
horrible.
Diesel.
And then we have The Martian, our number 1. International's number 4 with 17. Followed by Paranormal Activity, 13.5. If you're looking at any of our lower ranking movies, like Scout's Guide to whatever, brought in less than $1 million, just brought in 810,000.
That movie,
So-
though, it's also on video on demand, I believe. It's a very, 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 very small budget. So I think as long as it
I
makes
was
a few million,
more. I was more interested to see the Final Girls. I keep hearing about
Yeah.
that movie. I haven't seen it yet, but it seems like that kind of style
It's
of
a gr-
like horror comedy.
It's a great premise. It's kind of like Last Action Hero, where a group of people get brought into a horror movie, and they're like trying to stick with the last, because there's always that last girl that survives every horror movie.
Of course.
And it's that basically them like staying with her and trying to make it to the end of the movie.
Yeah, it looked funny. I saw the trailer
Yeah.
for it. It looked funny. I would kind of prefer to see that than Scott's Guide to Zombie Apocalypse.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seemed a little too over the top, too silly.
Yeah, it seemed
too
very
sci-fi, maybe Sharknado-ish.
Sharknado is another level.
But
It's
yeah.
definitely, it seems very vulgar and just kind of childish and immature kind of comedy.
Yeah.
It's just like zombie
I think
boobs.
but I think that at least they embraced it.
True.
You know what?
That's
At
true.
least they went full out. They did not
Yeah.
hide away from the
That's a good
tone.
point.
They just went for it.
I heard it's like
Yeah.
Porky's
So-
with zombies, which is not a bad pitch, to be honest with you.
Are you in now? Have we
I
talked you into
talked
it?
gotta watch
to
it
myself into it, yeah.
You're like, you know what? I'm going to see that movie
Yeah.
now.
Zombie
All right.
boobs.
Internet. We did not
Hashtag
have
zombie
Tom here,
We do not.
Yeah.
but
no
are you
Tom.
ready to step
Yeah, let's
up
go.
and take this over?
Oh, this is
I'm gonna
my
do my
first time
best.
seeing this live.
Are you ready to play?
Oh, I'm ready.
International dance. Here we go.
This is anticipation's killing me.
Marissa's getting it ready.
Are you? Did you plan
Anticipation's
this?
killing me.
Is this?
This
did
is
you
not
plan
planned.
some
Break
meditation?
out the Rosetta Stone, because it's time for the International Title Game.
Al esfuerzo y al heroísmo de una revolución no los queremos.
What was the doorknob motion?
That was definitely not a doorknob.
It was
it?
the makeup artist putting the last touches on your
Oh,
makeup. He was looking at it. He had it. He did a little more black right there.
JT, that
well,
was
it would have been
amazing.
more like
Thank
I did
you.
it on myself. So.
Did you do all yourself?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You did that makeup yourself?
That's
Yeah.
impressive.
That's amazing.
That's actually
Good
really
job.
impressive. I'm
I
impressed.
just noticed the black under your nose. I was just scoop
Yeah,
up
she
the
has
black.
the actual nose.
They're just sticking right up your nose.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right, guys.
No, yeah.
All right, here we go.
I'm doing my best to fulfill Tom's
Okay.
shoes here.
Is it China?
No, we actually go in.
Chinese chicken?
These are all from Japan.
Japan.
We're taking,
Love anime.
China's cousin, neighbor. Right? I think so. I don't know geography.
Definitely not.
They're definitely in Asia. I'll give you that. So here we go. These are 4 films
Okay.
Yes.
and the titles. One of them is false. The rest are true.
Okay.
You Only Live Twice, the James Bond film, in Japan is called 007 Dies Twice.
Okay.
Okay. The cheerleader movie, Bring It On.
Ooh.
You remember this movie?
Did you have to define it as the cheerleader movie? Couldn't you just have said,
there's-
"Bring it on"?
You mean the other Bring It On, right?
No,
the other one?
Not the straight DVD sequence.
Oh, okay.
Is called
cheerleader
in
one.
Japan Pom Pom Go Go.
Okay. I could.
I would just like
Totally
to say for
see
the
that.
general public, we would have assumed the cheerleader movie.
Hey,
The
I
other
don't know how
Especially
many
when
people
you
don't
went
Bring
to,
It On.
I'm sure when you also went to Pom Pom Go Go.
That would have given it away. Freaky Friday, the Lindsay Lohan, Jamie Lee Curtis movie, the
That
remake.
version?
Yes, it was the
Okay.
remake.
Specifically,
It's called Fortune Cookies.
Fortune cookies?
Yes, very Asian.
they do trade through fortune cookies.
Oh, they
Okay.
do?
I think so.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, they like each open a fortune, and they both read it, and then they have to
Oh.
like discover the meaning of the fortune cookie, and that's how they switch back.
The more you know. Do
Huh.
do do do.
Wait,
Wait, all right.
you-
Next
wait, you
is
said the wrong movie.
no, it's Freaky
Lindsay-
Friday
Oh yeah,
with Lindsay
okay.
Lohan and Jamie
Okay,
Lee
you're
Curtis,
right,
the
you're right, you're
remake.
right.
Okay.
That's what it's called.
I know what I'm doing.
Fortune cookies.
Okay.
Fast
I'm sorry, I have
Five.
a lot of judgment.
Fast Five.
Fast
the part 5 in the Fast and Furious franchise.
Oh.
Is it part
In case you guys don't know.
Was it part 5?
It's part
Shit.
5. It's called Wild Speed Mega Max.
Wild Speed
Wild Speed.
Mega
Mega
Max.
Max.
Mega
I'll repeat them
Max.
one last
Mad
time.
Max.
You Only Live Twice. 007 dies twice.
Okay.
Bring It On. Pom Pom Go Go.
Okay.
Freaky Friday. Fortune Cookies. And Fast Five, the 5th film in the Fast Five franchise.
Oh, 5th one.
Wild Speed Megamax.
Okay, I've got mine narrowed down to 2.
Okay.
I have no idea.
You gotta pick one.
You gotta really try and dissect them and then just forget
What was
everything
the-
you
what was
thought
the first
about and
one?
pick one.
First one was You Only Live Twice. and they
007 dies twice.
Okay.
Yes.
That's mine.
All
That
right.
one's yours?
That's mine.
All right.
I'm between Pom Pom Go Go because it might just be Pom Go Go or like Pom Pom Go.
Pom Pom
Oh,
Go Go just sounds too
you think I'm
perfectly
pulling a-
I
Japanese.
have
Fine.
mine.
I'm gonna pick Fast Five Wild Speed Mega Max.
All
It's
right.
false.
All right.
Hey,
Marissa?
I was gonna go with that too, the Wild Speed.
Okay.
Okay.
And are we? Is one of us right?
None of you
Oh.
are right. The answer is Pom Pom Go Go.
That's what I said.
I am so sorry.
It just sounded
You
too
fooled me.
perfectly Japanese. It sounded
it's
like Pom Pom
complete-
Go Go.
It's not even close.
What's it? What is it?
One thing I did forget to do was write down what it really was.
But it's not even
So
close.
you
I-
get an.
I failed at the end.
I'm gonna
but
give you a C
I-
minus.
Yeah, but I
on your
came
effort.
up with Pom Pom Go Go, and I fooled all of you.
That's true. You
So
fooled
I
us
did,
all.
You
pretty
came
good.
up with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I came up with that.
That's-
Completely.
Good job.
That's impressive.
Whatever it wasn't very good. Oh no, I remember what it was now.
Okay.
It was Cheers.
Cheers.
That just Cheers, like the TV show. That was the title they had. Which
That's the real title.
that was the title in Japan. Yeah.
I would have thought that was fake.
yeah, I know.
I would just pick that as fake.
There you go.
I
That's how it
I,
goes.
I figured that was
All
the easiest
right.
one for me to make
Well,
one
that
up.
is the game. Let's go on to some top 5
pretty damn good.
grossing
Top
films.
5.
This week we are going to be featuring the wonderful Daniel Craig.
Yes.
Who I'm sure this list will be changed by next week.
Yes.
Or
Oh,
by
few months.
Few months, yeah. You knew what I meant.
Yes, I did.
So we're going to reference this one now. For those of you who haven't heard us do a list before, we don't include everything of a genre. So
Okay.
for
A
instance,
franchise.
yeah, franchise. Like,
So no.
thank you. What am I
I
saying
am.
today?
It's
So
the makeup.
no,
I think
just only one
getting-
bond is basically what you're
Fumes.
saying.
Soaking your
It's getting to my brain.
I mean, you put it right up your nose. I mean, so,
Okay.
Grab the paint
Just-
right up the nose.
We'll start with number 5, going to
ooh,
Cowboys and Aliens.
Cowboys and
Oh
Aliens.
my gosh.
Not a good
this
movie.
Harrison Ford coming to Comic-Con for Cowboys and Aliens.
I gotta tell you, I was so excited
Whole
for this
reason
movie.
that movie was made.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was so excited for this movie when it came out because I love Favreau as a director. He was coming off Iron Man 1 and 2. Daniel Craig was great. Had a great cast. For Harrison
cast.
Ford.
Was Olivia Wilde in it too?
What?
Yeah, I think
Yes,
she was
Olivia
in it.
Wilde.
Yeah.
Yeah, she played the
She was-
main female protagonist.
Yeah.
And the trailers just look like. I love the premise. I just like, wow, that's a great premise.
That is a good premise.
And they just did not pull it off.
Yeah.
Did you guys see it?
Yeah.
I did
like
not see this
vaguely-
movie.
Oh, you didn't see it?
I did
Okay.
not see Cowboys and
You
Aliens.
really didn't
It's
miss
funny
anything.
because it's one of those things where I wanted to see it, and then
Yeah.
I heard how bad it was, and I'm like, I'm good.
You're
I'm not
gonna
going to see this
pass.
movie.
And I don't
So-
blame the premise. I think the premise still could work. If I think the script was the main problem because it was a grade A production. Like the special effects and everything were awesome.
That's
Just the movie fell all over the place. Craig was good though.
true. So everything was fine except for the script
Except
and
for
the
the
whole
script,
movie in
which
general.
ruins the whole
But besides that,
Yeah.
it's still made $100 million
Well,
Wow.
and still gets on his list.
It's just frustrating to see a great premise with great actors and a great director and for it to not come together. Especially when you have
And-
It
Spielberg, producing.
And speaking of marketing, I like the marketing for that movie. It made me want to go see the movie.
Yes, I
it's like,
totally agree.
oh, this looks like a fun,
Totally
good
agree.
time.
and then the relationships between the characters were just awful. And
Yes.
It just fell apart.
It was so bad.
Next on the list goes to Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yeah.
A movie I did enjoy
Yes.
watching.
Great movie.
Made $102 million.
Pretty. I mean, I think they were hoping for a little more, but I think for an R-rated, like almost 3-hour film, that's really
was it
damn
3
good.
Yeah.
I am not one of those people who's never seen the originals.
Oh, you've seen
Never
it?
seen them.
Okay.
Never
You
seen
haven't
them.
seen them. Me neither.
And I was almost like, people were like, you gotta see the original before this one
Did
comes
you
out.
read the book?
No, didn't read the books. I don't read books if they're based on movies.
Yeah,
Or if they might have a chance of becoming a movie. Because I don't want to spoil the movie.
I was
Fine line. So you just don't read on the
I
chance
just
that
don't
it
read.
might
Don't read.
become
You're like Mark
made
Ellis.
into.
Honestly, the only books I often read will be biographies about
Okay.
people that I...
Those could become movies. You know?
That's true, but then I'm like, okay, it's life. Life you
Okay.
can't ruin. Yeah.
Clear.
You can't ruin
listen,
life.
I remember seeing Jurassic Park as a kid. And one of my friends from school, I was like, was Jurassic Park not the greatest thing ever? He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was good. The book was better though. And I said, I will never read a book again. Because I'll
And
never
then
let it ruin a
JTE
movie.
failed all of school because
Yep.
for all of the reading courses, you just wouldn't read it in the
wouldn't
name
do
of
it.
film.
Oh, come on, man. But no, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, I was very excited to see this movie.
Yes, me too.
I've heard so much hyped around the originals. It got Rooney Mara a nomination for Best Actress, right?
She was great in it. She was the
She was
best thing in the
phenomenal in
movie.
it. She was super good in it. And it was a very
Super good.
dark, gritty, like very painful movie
Oh,
to see.
Fincher was. I think he was the perfect
I have kind
director.
of a stupid question.
Go ahead. I'll
Isn't
give you a
it
stupid answer.
multiple books and movies?
3 movies, 3 books.
Yeah.
3 movies, 3 books. It's Swedish movies.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they not continuing it if it made
I think
so
it's.
much
I
money?
think it's. They put it on hold, right? David
Here's the
Fincher
thing.
put it on hold for other movies that he was going to do. I think that's what it
and
was.
they talked about for a while. Rooney Mara was signed on,
Mm-hmm.
but the studio just didn't think it made enough money. They were hoping for like this to
Really?
be a huge hit, and it was a big hit, but not a huge hit. Think about 100 million. Let's say the budget was 50,
Yeah.
okay, or more. Then you take public relations and all that. The budget was probably like close to 150 million dollars, and it only
public-
made 100 here.
Public relations.
Public relations. Oh,
yeah.
public. They had
They were
public
trying
relations
to
because
re-
of the movie.
They were trying to repair their
Yeah.
image for what they did in the movie.
I don't know.
PR.
it's
You mean
just-
marketing?
I think it
Probably,
made,
yeah.
in my opinion, let's see, it's Sony.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Sony has it. Lifetime gross 102 million.
Mm-hmm.
Theaters, do we have a budget?
Mm.
I'm trying to find a budget. So
It looked-
production budget was 90 million.
Yeah, there you go. See,
There
I
you
was
go.
being
Very
generous with like
expensive.
50.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
the opening of the movie, the CG opening was really cool too.
Oh, the
that looked
opening?
expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that part of the budget.
That was 10 million.
That was $10 million
budget.
budget right there, guys. No, they had
Yeah,
the set design, production design, all of it looked amazing. They probably paid Daniel Craig a good chunk of money.
yeah.
So I could
It
see
just
that.
didn't. It's one of those movies. It's the same thing with Superman Returns, the movie that came out. That was supposed to revive Superman.
Mm-hmm.
They talked about sequel, but they just didn't think it made enough money.
No, I disagree though because I'm looking at this. I mean, it obviously
You-
was really close, but I
You disagree
disagree with
about
the fact they chose not to continue on.
I
Because
disagree too.
Looking at this, $90 million budget. Yeah, it's high. Brought in 102 domestic. Brought in 130 foreign. So total worldwide of 232. Okay, 90 million production budget probably isn't taking in prints and
Yeah.
advertising, which is probably for that movie up another
60 million.
60. So you're looking at what, $150 million budget, making 232.
Yeah,
But it was also got really good word of mouth.
Yeah, I got Oscar
and
noms.
it got nominated 5 Oscars
Yeah.
and 1 win. Oh, I
but
don't know.
I
studios
would've
aren't
loved to
looking at that. They're looking at money.
Money.
know.
That
Yeah,
is
I mean,
not
I
a
would have
movie-
loved to seen the trilogy, the American trilogy, right? Because there's a Swedish
Yes,
trilogy.
I would too. I think everybody was.
I would
hoping
have loved to seen the continuation, and they really
here.
set it up for it too.
and where the people went with their careers, like
Yeah.
they've definitely become more household names.
Yeah, I think they saw the numbers just weren't there. They were there. They were there toward the point that they were thinking about doing it. They just never did it.
And one thing about Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, after this movie, Rooney Mara just right on my
yeah.
map. One of my favorite actresses
Wow.
right now, just because of this movie. So
Let's hope no one saw her in Pan. That's for sure.
oh,
It's okay,
yeah.
no one saw them, so it's fine.
So if she bounced back.
Moving
from that.
on to Road to Perdition, brought
Yeah.
in 104 million from Mr. Daniel
there you go.
Craig.
I dig this movie because he plays kind of the bad guy, the second-hand bad guy in this movie. He's just like Paul Newman's the main villain, who Tom Hanks kind of turns on, and then Daniel Craig is like, I think he plays the son of Paul Newman, and then Jude Law is the hitman that's after Tom Hanks and his son.
I don't remember
See,
specifically.
Yeah.
very good movie.
been a while
Sam
since I've
Mendes,
Sam
who was
Mendes.
killing it at the time.
Yeah.
Skyfall.
No, he's doing Skyfall
Yeah.
and Spectre.
And Roger Deakins, same guy who did Skyfall and Spectre, did the same thing with Sam Mendes on this movie. It looks beautiful, based on a graphic novel. It's one of those movies I actually haven't seen in a while, and I probably feel like I should revisit.
yeah,
There you go, for those of you who haven't seen it. Or if you have, revisit Road
Yeah.
to Perdition. It made 104 million
Listen,
adjusted.
it was Tom Hanks when he was huge too. So
Going on the same kind of quasi bad guy pattern
Yep.
up to Lara Croft Tomb Raider. He was like kind of a bad guy,
Yeah.
like the bad boy,
Yep.
love interest.
I never really seen these movies.
ish.
You've never seen Lara Croft?
Never really saw
Really?
him. I seen only bits and pieces on TV. I just heard from so many people when it came out. Here's the thing. I was never a fan of the video game.
It's so bad, but so wonderful.
I was never a fan of the video games. I'm a huge fan of Angelina Jolie, and that's the only reason why I came close to watching it on TV before.
Just to see Angelina
Just
Jolie.
Angelina Jolie. I mean, but
in those outfits.
I never liked the video games, so therefore I never really got into. I will say,
didn't like the video games, and I loved it.
Really, you love those movies?
I love Tomb Raider.
What did you love about them?
I don't know. I just always liked the cheesy action, ridiculous.
Okay.
Love Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
Her with guns and kicking ass.
Let me
It was
ask
fun.
you: is the second one as good as the first one?
I would not say they're good.
Marissa's like no. Okay, so second one's not that good either.
No, they're not
The
good.
first one's not that good.
Doesn't
then
matter.
I'm not
They're
missing
still
out on
great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
That's how I feel about Judge Dredd with Stallone. It's not a good movie, but I enjoy it.
And then
Dread's good.
Dredd is good.
Yeah, Carl Urban.
number 1 on the list goes
By a
to
landslide.
for now.
Yes.
Skyfall bringing in
Skyfall.
$304 million.
It's the biggest Bond film, man. It's
Listen, I still think Casino Royale's my absolute
Oh
favorite.
no! I'm not saying it's the best.
No.
I think Casino Royale is the best. I mean, it's my favorite Bond film. I
here.
consider
Be
it
very
the best.
careful with the Bond.
So, but
the Bond sayings.
oh no, I
I'm right
think
there with
Casino
them.
Royale is amazing.
Casino Royale's my absolute favorite.
But Skyfall was
Bond
great.
movie. Skyfall was good. It was definitely better than Quantum of Solace, which I think was
Better than
a
Quantum
step
of
down.
Solace.
I completely agree.
Skyfall, I really enjoyed it. I feel like it was a light on action. I missed Casino Royale. I thought Casino Royale did a perfect mix of giving you new stuff, a new edgier Bond, but also giving you the action that you expect from Bond.
Yeah.
Skyfall felt like it was almost too story-wise. Like, listen, I understand he's trying to take it a more serious route, and it's Sam Mendes who does a lot of dramas, but listen, you could have all that, but give me enough action to give me my Bond fix.
I agree with you, but at the same time, it was cool to see a different side to Bond, to see a broken down, gritty Bond. Like,
but we saw that in Casino Royale.
We did, but
In Quantum of Solace.
I mean, but not quite as much as in Skyfall, though, because Skyfall really showed how, like, the fact that he failed every physical test, the fact that he was psychologically scarred, the fact that he was emotionally scarred, that he could still, like, overcome and be the James Bond that we know, even past all those things that just takes a toll on you. Kind of like what The Dark Knight Rises did for Batman, which is like, after so long, I love Dark Knight Rises.
I don't like Dark Knight Rises.
But it showed, like, after being Batman for so long, like, it takes a toll on you. And he's kind of he's like the British Batman, technically. I mean, he's James Bond, so.
Yeah, I just want more action.
Sure.
Not that the action in Skyfall was bad. No, I thought Javier Bardem was a really good villain.
Oh, it was great.
I just needed a little bit more, and I'm worried. We're going to talk about Spectre in a little bit. Some things I'm hearing, I'm a little worried it's going to be more in Skyfall and less Casino Royale.
We can get straight into that because that rounds out Daniel rounds around.
It's that
Daniel
paint.
Craig's
I'll take
list.
you.
It's that face
All
paint.
of that. Moving on to upcoming films.
Yeah.
The Juggernaut. I really can't talk.
No,
Oh.
I'm telling you, it's the face paint. It's
I
just
think you're making me nervous.
am I?
I'm gonna blame it on you.
It's just me, right?
I normally have the two of them, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, stop. And
Yeah.
I'm like nervous or something.
Oh wow.
Spectre.
I mean, I would consider it the other way around, considering you're like a skeleton.
So I'm like an intimidating
yeah,
skeleton.
a monster.
We're literally
Spectre
boring here.
is coming out. Everybody get ready.
Let's get into it.
How to even start this conversation?
Well, listen, let's start with the fact that it might be his last Bond film. That's a lot of people are reporting or rumoring this is it. And I think that's going to even make the box office, like, I think it broke that record in UK because everyone's like, this is the finale.
I don't think it will
No,
be.
but here's the thing. From people that I've talked to who've seen it, like Scott Mann's, Alicia Malone.
Yeah.
Alicia Malone specifically said, I think this is it.
Really?
And she goes, and if it isn't, I don't know where they'll take it from here because she says she felt like they wrapped everything up.
Yeah, but again, we just talked about studios and wrapping things up. Studios care about one thing, and that's money. This
Yeah,
thing's
They
gonna
can
make a
reopen it.
lot
Someone
of
who's
money.
dead can become alive again. You never know.
I'm
If
not
this
saying-
thing makes money, it's going to be another a Daniel Craig James Bond.
But if they just reboot it again with a new Bond, it's going to make that much money because it's going to
That's
be coming
true.
off this. It really depends on who's going to play Bond next, which is going to be a huge search.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see what that happens. But I think this does have that finale kind of feel to
Do you guys
it.
have any feelings about a future Bond?
Idris Elba.
Actors?
Idris Elba?
I want Idris Elba. I think he'd be a phenomenal Bond. I mean, if you're one of my favorite TV shows in the recent years is Luther. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a
I have
BBC
not
show.
seen it, but
It's
heard
a
it's great.
phenomenal show. That's what I got introduced to Idris Elba, and that's how he became one of my favorite actors working right now. He's phenomenal in that show, and I definitely think he can play a fantastic Bond. And if he follows up Daniel Craig, I think it's perfect timing. And I think it's time for that.
But it's curious because if you do redo Bond, you gotta have a new angle to it. It can't just be a continuation of what Daniel Craig did. I think it's got to be a whole new kind of different. You could start remaking some of the older films that these guys haven't really touched upon. I would love to maybe go a little younger for once. I mean, Bronson was kind of older. Craig was a little bit older.
But Craig, when in Casino Royale, he wasn't that old.
But he
was
doesn't
supposed to
look
be like
young.
a newer Bond.
Like, I loved the movie The Guest that came out last year. I thought Dan Stevens had so much charisma. This guy is in
Is he British?
the Abbey Show. What's it called?
Oh, Downton Abbey.
Yeah,
So he is
yeah.
British. Okay.
Yeah, he is British. And I think that guy, you put him in his tux and you could almost play a little bit younger angle, but he's not so young where you're like, it's like the Kingsman where you're like, oh, it's some super young kid. I think we need to go back to a little more suave. Now that we've seen the Daniel Craig edgy, gritty, let's go back to the suave now for a little bit.
But we've been
Let's go back and
Yeah.
I
forth.
don't know, because we've been in the suave for a while. That's what.
No, we haven't had it since Bronson.
But
It's been a decade.
But we've had 50 years of Bond, right? And 50 years of Bond, we've had the suave, and then Daniel Craig brought that grittiness.
Yeah, I'm not saying lose the grittiness completely.
This is the problem. If you
Yeah.
get someone who's still gritty,
Yeah.
and that is their essence, then it's so easy to just compare
Compare
them
it
to
to
Daniel
Craig.
Craig.
Sure.
And Craig's done so well
Yeah.
that they do need someone who, while gritty can be on their list of adjectives, it can't be
Ace.
number one.
Sure,
Yeah,
but I still think one of the most suave people around is Idris Elba. He can pull that off so
If you're going
well.
for an older version, yeah, because he's getting up there. He's like almost.
He's an older guy, sure, but if he does it like following this Daniel Craig Bond, he can do the suave, he can do the gritty, he can do both.
What if we
ways.
take
He's a
it the
great
other
actor.
way? We get the oldest Bond we ever had. No. like
Yeah,
super
that'll
old.
really bring in
Let's
the
not.
numbers.
The
So,
Dark Knight Returns
I want
Bond.
Liam Neeson as Bond.
Dark Knight
No,
Returns
no.
Bond comes out of retirement.
exactly.
To
So
take down
Spectre will
Baghdad.
come out 77% on Rotten
destroy.
Tomatoes. Will make
Yeah.
some money. I think that I'm very excited to see this
Oh,
film.
I'm so
I would be
excited for
excited
this
to see
movie.
this film if it was over 50%. So
Yes.
Yeah.
it's in good territory.
I'm a little worried about the runtime. It's like 2.5 hours, longest
that is a
Bond
little
ever.
long.
I
But
feel like that's the average movie now.
That's
yeah,
true.
That's true.
But I was telling JT at Kamikaze, Bond movies are like big in my family household. Like I grew up with Bond movies. We would watch we would do Bond marathons. I would watch the Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Bronson. Like my whole family grew up with it. We used to love the Bond movies, watch it every holiday season. So we're gonna watch them together. And we saw Skyfall together, and we were talking about that too.
Yep.
But as a Bond fanatic that I am, I love Daniel Craig's interpretation of Bond. I love
Me too.
how
It's my favorite.
it's my favorite Bond. He is my favorite Bond, and a lot of people might say no, it's Connery, it's Moore, but for me, Daniel Craig brings out just the best of Bond, and it brings out a realism and a sophistication to Bond that we haven't seen in a while. Like, it's just a realistic, down-to-earth Bond.
You say that as somebody who grew up loving
Love
Bond.
Bond, yeah.
I'm coming in from somebody who didn't really watch Bond growing up. Like, I didn't get it until Bronson and GoldenEye, and then those movies kind of went downhill immediately. I just think overall, it's the best. I need to go back and watch some of the older ones, but I just think Casino Royale is so damn good.
It's so good, and the thing about Bond is one of my favorite all-time characters in any movie. And the thing about Bond is that he has that characterization where he's a flawed person, where a lot of people are like, well, Bond is kind of messed up, and that's what makes him
He's
such
supposed
a
to be messed
great
up.
character, because he is the kind of guy who he'll take it too far. He'll kill someone that he's not supposed to kill. He'll go too far. He'll push the edge, but that's what makes him such a great character.
Speaking of flawed characters, Charlie Brown. Like that transition?
Best transition I've
Great
ever.
transition. Yes, in case you were wondering, the Peanuts movie is also opening
I'm excited.
nationwide this week. You're excited?
I love Charlie Brown growing up. I was
See,
a
this
little.
is something I didn't grow up
Yeah, see, I was a little worried when I heard the CGI thing.
Do you like the visual style?
But they've done a good job of trying to keep it close to the. It's like, even though it is CGI and 3D and all that, it's pretty close to like the style and the feel of the animation that you would have gotten with the old school hand drawn cartoons.
I mean,
Listen, there's no way we're getting hand drawn Peanuts these day and age.
No,
are you you're an animation fan, right? You're an
Yeah,
animated
I like
movie fan?
animation. Yes, it's just like, but I also grew up with Peanuts and like
of
specifically their
course.
holiday movies.
Oh
Yeah.
And I just don't. I'm not a really big fan of the visual style that I've seen.
Is it
I
because
just don't
is
like
it
it.
just
They're
CG?
It's very
looks
different.
weird.
It's just
It
different.
it has a different feel.
It's a very different style of animation, but I think that's what they're going for. They're trying to have that like unique, fresh style of animation that could say like, "Hey, look at us, we're trying something different." But I mean, I didn't grow up with the Peanuts that much, or Charlie Brown or anything like that. But I mean, I'm a huge animated movie guy. But I don't know. The trailers aren't really.
It just reminds me of a like an infomercial. It just reminds me of like infomercial graphics.
Really?
I don't know. Like the colors are so bright. I don't know. It's strange.
Here's the deal. As long as they're able to capture the characters and the way they are from the old school cartoons, as long as they're able to capture that, I don't think the animation will bother me so much. And I'm excited because I'm hoping new kids will go see this and they'll go back and watch the classics. And be like, oh, they'll come to appreciate the 2D animation.
Yeah.
version.
Do you think it's an animated movie that both kids and adults are going to enjoy?
Adults are
Like the
gonna-
kind of Pixar kind of thing that
I
it
think-
has jokes for adults and for kids, or is it just going to be like
80% of the kids that go see us have probably never even heard of Peanuts before.
That's true.
Because it's such a thing from like the older generation.
Yeah.
Like this was what a lot of grown-ups now, when they were kids, this is what they watch. This is what they read in the newspaper. Whenever my parents got newspapers, like, give me the cartoons.
Does it worry you at all that Rotten Tomatoes and such are not having their reviews up yet?
that?
Oh, it's
worries
not
me.
up yet?
Ooh.
No, 'cause sometimes that won't happen until Tuesday of the week of. So if Tuesday, listen, I'm real curious.
Fantastic Four.
I'm definitely gonna look at the Rotten Tomatoes and all that and the scores. If they're saying it's garbage, then yeah, maybe I'll skip it. But if they've just done a decent job of grabbing the charm that is Charlie Brown, I find it hard to believe it being that bad.
All right.
I don't know. We'll see.
Also coming out, so besides Peanuts
Smaller
and Spectre,
films.
which are gonna take most of the people,
That's gonna be
we
like
should also talk about Spotlight
two huge
coming
audiences.
out.
I believe you
as
have a
well.
caller.
Oh, we
Got
have a caller.
Oh, let's see who we got.
Who's this caller?
Hello, caller.
Hickory Dickory Doc.
Go away.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, it's Bob Finstock. Hey, Sarah, you look fantastic as a ghost.
I'm not a ghost. I'm a skeleton.
A skeleton. You can do nothing wrong. I am watching. We were at the the schmo thing. How did everything go so far? I mean, I haven't checked anything out yet, but now I'm checked in. Sorry, I couldn't make it today.
It's going good, man. We talked about some Peanuts, some Spectre. We talked about
James Bond.
Yeah, we did a lot of James Bond talk, and I did a pretty good job with International Game. I fooled all these guys.
Yeah.
None of them got it right.
He might have won, but I'm giving him a C- on his delivery.
Yeah.
Why C-? I thought I did it perfect.
Look, JT, look, here's the deal.
What's the deal?
I mean, delivery it's not teachable. Okay, you gotta
Thank
pop
you.
out of your mom's uterus with delivery, or you don't have, or you don't.
Well, you are
That's it.
delivered at that point.
Yeah,
You're born with it, man.
you gotta be born with it.
You
gotta
gotta
be born with it.
delivered with
Now, I'm
delivery.
drinking whiskey, watching the Met game. This is the biggest game of the year.
What's the score, man?
See, send in the hate mail,
Wait,
everyone.
so
He
this
is
is why
watching
he missed out.
the Met game.
It is 1-0, but I'm doing it I'm working on another business deal as well that everybody's gonna be really happy about eventually.
Sure.
So that's something very interesting that's going on.
Did you want to throw out?
Has Boss Turner called in yet?
No,
you're the
we're
first
about
caller.
to get your first caller. We're going to get to callers in a couple
Oh,
minutes.
nice.
We're going through upcoming movies. Did you want to put out your predictions since we have you?
Absolutely. Hey, where did you move? Where did you move? I'm gonna need your address.
Yeah,
and,
I ran
your phone
away,
number
so you
eventually.
can't find me anymore.
You're gonna see a Finstock in the window.
Yeah, I'm gonna figure out where you
It
live. and I'm
actually
gonna
has
move next
happened.
door again.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can deal with you not living next to me.
Uh-huh.
But
He's gonna move
I'm
next
gonna
to
go with. It was very interesting. I mean, The Martian is still, ruling. It's nuts that it has. I mean, obviously, Spectre #1.
Yeah. No
Obviously,
Um,
I think we're all going to have that. Do we want to put out numbers?
Is
Is anyone not going to predict Spectre
is
as number
coming out?
one? Okay.
Spectre's #1, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else new coming out?
Peanuts.
Peanuts movie.
Oh, you know what? Peanuts #2.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Martian #3.
Okay.
Burnt 4,
Okay.
Wow.
and let's go Bridge of Spies #5.
Alrighty. Do you want to throw out your Spectre number?
Yes. Hey, I still wanted to come on today because I had a lot to say about it. I mean, you're talking a movie that's over $300 million budget. This is nuts.
Wow.
Yeah, this thing.
It made 80 in UK this weekend alone.
It's gonna make a lot of money.
How's China doing? Did you guys bust China? I mean, how'd it go?
Hasn't opened there yet.
No, I haven't been.
China
Okay.
was mentioned for only about 5 seconds today, but
Yeah.
thank you for mentioning it again.
All right.
Now it has 10.
Perfect. You know what? I think Bond's going to do 71.
Ooh, it's pretty close to what I got it.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I think it'll do $71 million.
Okay.
It's so, the box office is so weak right now.
It is weak. Yeah.
So, you know,
All
I'm
right.
sorry. I used all my jokes earlier on the Schmoes panel.
Well,
This
you
is
go
serious.
enjoy your sports and your work, Mr.
Thank you.
Mysterious
well.
work events.
Hey, let me know where you live. Shoot me your address.
Sure.
Something like that.
All right, goodbye.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Later,
All right, see you,
Finstock.
man.
All right. I didn't want to tell him the next movie we're talking about that's coming out.
Yeah,
It's Spotlight.
That was probably smart.
And I didn't want to hear what he had to say about
Yeah.
Spotlight, which is about a priest that gets caught or accused of molesting
Oh,
more than 80
good Lord.
boys.
It's about the press
So
that
thought
like
we
Yeah.
would keep that with
Yeah.
the more
It's a more.
PG
what's
people.
Yeah.
you know what interests me about this movie is Michael Keaton's coming off Birdman.
Yes.
You know, Oscar nominated, Best Picture winner. And every time somebody is nominated for Oscar or their film is like in that talk, they always want to follow up with something
Yes.
strong. And this is obviously a heavy subject. Mark
heavy.
Ruffalo is also in the film.
He is so consistent. I love him.
Oh, Ruffalo?
Ruffalo?
Yeah,
Yes,
Ruffalo's great.
Yeah,
is
he
just
looks
one
good
of
in
the
this, too.
most, but he's one of the most consistent actors I feel like out there.
Yeah.
He's just always good.
Yeah, and this movie, I mean, speaking of trailers, like it's kind of similar to, I mean, it's not similar, but obviously limited, small movie, Our Brand is Crisis. I keep calling it Our Band is Crisis,
Our Band.
which would be a better movie.
Yeah.
This movie actually, it's actually an interesting premise. I actually kind of want to see this movie. It's
Yeah.
got Mark Ruffalo, Michael Keaton. Who else is in
Rachel
it?
McAdams.
Rachel
Yes.
McAdams.
Oh, who else is in it? That's a good question.
It's I saw the cast. It has a
Stanley
good cast.
Tucci, Liev Schreiber.
Yeah.
Great
got a
cast.
It's got a great cast. It seems like a kind of Oscar baity type of movie.
Definitely. And
so
the thing is, I haven't heard much word of mouth around town about it.
No.
Like, so that's why I've heard some
That's
people that
because the
saw
movies
it.
are dead right now.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So-
I'm interested. This is one of those movies. I'll wait till I read the reviews. If
I
they're
agree.
glowing, I will run out and see it.
me too.
Also coming out is Trumbo,
Yes.
which has gotten some pretty good reviews.
Yeah.
Brian Cranston.
Cranston coming off Breaking
the
Breaking
one
Bad
who
fame.
knocks.
Someone else who can't seem to do wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Trumbo. Looks interesting, man. I mean, Brian Cranston is the main draw here.
Yes.
He looks like he disappeared into this role. He looked like he Daniel Day-Lewis into this role. He really does look like Trumbo. And I was reading an interview about it, and he said that he really started noticing how he was picking up little mannerisms that Trumbo usused to
Really?
do and all that, and he got really into the role. So he's pushing for that.
What's the main
Nomination.
synopsis for this?
It is about 1947, 1950.
It's about a screenwriter during the.
Screenwriter Dalton Trumbo, played by Mr. Bryan Cranston, and other Hollywood figures get blacklisted for their
Yep.
political beliefs.
Thought they were commies.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, and then he
So-
apparently started writing under a fake name and all that. I just find that whole thing interesting, especially when you go to old
So
Hollywood
interesting.
and just the things that we did back then were pretty stupid at times.
Trumbo has 85% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Spotlight has 95. So these
Wow.
are smaller
Spotlight's
films.
on 95.
95, but they're
Wow.
doing
See
very
that?
well
Wow.
under the radar. We have to
I'll be
bust
seeing
through this, you
Spotlight.
guys, because
Yeah.
we have to get to callers and predictions.
I'll be seeing
So,
Spotlight this weekend.
now that you know everything that's coming out, to remind you of Finstock's list.
Sure, I'll start it off. You guys don't mind?
Yes.
Go right
Go for
ahead.
number one, Spectre, and I'm going with 75 million.
Okay.
That's where I was at. Finstock's right under me, so I think if it makes a little bit more, I'll be okay. Depending on what you guys pick. Number two, Peanuts.
Okay.
I'm real curious to see what it does. It's such a different audience than Spectre. Spectre's go see Peanuts twice while we go watch Spectre once because it's 2.5 hours. But I think it's good. And then honestly, looking at this list, everything is so close. I'm just moving everything down.
All right.
Number 3, Martian. Number 4, Goosebumps. Number 5, Bridge of Spies. Because there's nothing here that's gonna. I don't think Burnt is. It's gonna fall off. That's all. That's
You
it.
wanna go ahead?
That's
Go
it.
ahead, Ace. Friggin'
Okay. It's number one, Spectre.
Total.
$82 million.
I'm going high, so you're still comfy
80
because I'm going up there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm feeling the Jurassic World, like
No,
you know,
really?
everyone assumed here and then it was here.
Don't
I'm
forget,
going for that leap.
Yeah.
keep that 2.5 hour runtime in mind.
Keep that. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it'll be
People
right.
want to see a
Yeah.
movie
Okay.
in mind.
Number 2, I'm going Peanuts. Number 3, Martian. 4 and 5 are tough for me. How limited are Trumbo and
Very limited.
Extremely limited? Okay.
Let me see if I can find out the actual number for you quickly.
Okay.
I can't.
Cool. So 1 Spectre, 2 Peanuts, 3 Martian. I'm going 4 Bridge of Spies. I'm gonna
Okay.
switch that. I think the Goosebumps crowd
Okay.
already got their Halloween fix,
Okay.
and they're gonna kind of die out after that because it's
Gotcha.
after Halloween. So 4 Bridge of Spies and 5.
Not going Goosebumps?
I guess Burnt.
Really?
I'm keeping Burnt on there.
I'll keep Burnt on there.
I'm
you guys
keeping
are
Burnt
nuts.
on there.
Crazy.
I'm going Spectre, and I'm aiming big. I'm
Yeah.
going
Okay.
up there. I'm going 90 million.
90 million.
Here's
Because the
thing
last
that,
one
Okay.
did 88, and because no one saw a movie this weekend,
Yeah.
I think everyone's like, "Oh, I'm just waiting."
That's what I'm a little worried about. Like everyone, the last 3 weeks have just been really small, and I
Horrible.
think people are just hungry for a
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
it could go over
blow up.
100.
I'm gonna go 75 though. I'm sticking with that.
It could
All
pull
right,
Guardians.
Peanuts number 2, then The Martian, then I'm getting Goosebumps out of there because I think if you're young, you're gonna go see Peanuts.
You think,
Yeah.
I just think
Yeah,
you're gonna
I
go see
agree.
Peanuts.
Okay.
And then I'm going to leave. The problem is I have like the same list as Tom because I do think
Okay.
I was gonna keep Burnt up there just for kind of the female audience. Like Spectre's definitely gonna get everyone, but
Everyone.
most
Yeah.
of the males. Martian, if you're still seeing it again, might go to repeat.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep. I'll just switch it and say Bridge of Spies and then Burnt, so I'm different than
Okay.
Star. And
Okay.
Interesting.
there we have predictions.
Cool.
We have time for about 1, maybe 2 callers.
Yeah, just give us a heads up, Marissa, because we can't see
we
the
have a
screen.
caller.
Oh, well, that was quick. Hey, welcome to Box Office Breakdown. Who do we got?
Hi, it's Kristen.
What
Hey,
up, Kristen? What's going on? How's your weekend been?
Oh, it's been good. It's been good. Happy late Halloween. I love your costume, Sarah.
Thank you. What were you for Halloween?
I was a pilot for Top Gun.
I saw that on
There you
Facebook.
go.
Awesome. Well done. I got the need for speed. That's what she said.
Perfect. JT knows
That's
what you
from
were
the
for
movie,
Halloween.
everybody, in case you didn't know.
Nice.
What do you got to say for us, Kristen?
Can I give it my top 5 today?
Let's
Yeah,
hear
of
it.
course.
Okay, so no doubt Spectre is going to be number 1.
For sure.
Okay.
Number 2, I'm going to say Peanuts.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, I'm going to say The Martian. Number 4, Goosebumps. And number 5, Bridge of Spies.
Boom. You and me are on the same page,
Yeah.
Kristen.
You guys just
JT.
are, you know,
What
on the
a-
same level today.
Yeah, she's Maverick. I'm Goose. I'm just riding her tailpipes here. What do you think Spectre's going to make for the weekend, Kristen?
Ooh,
What would you guess?
I'm thinking maybe $84 million.
Wow.
That's
All
about
right.
what I said.
All
I
right.
said
All right.
82.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're
you're up around where Ace is at,
Yeah.
so
interesting.
I'm
All
with
right.
you. I think it's going to be making some big money.
Yep.
Great. Any questions, Kristen? Or is that it for today?
No questions again today.
Thanks,
Do you want to
Kristen.
send any hateful messages to Tom for not being here?
No, I kind of missed him. I missed you last week.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah, I guess I can't really say too much.
Yeah,
then.
since you were not here last week. So
All right.
Ace,
Well, thanks.
you're not
I know.
invited
I'm
back.
never here anyway. So.
Thanks so
Thank
much
you,
for tuning in,
Kristen.
Christian.
Thank you, Kristen.
Awesome. Well done.
Awesome.
Cool.
Should we have another caller?
All right.
All right,
do
let's take
another
one more and then we got to wrap it up.
Welcome to Box Office Breakdown. Who do we got?
Hey, this is Cooper from Houston.
Hanging with
What's
Cooper.
up,
Hey,
Cooper?
Cooper.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper. It's a TV show. No one probably remembers it.
Nope, don't remember that TV show. Sorry, GT.
What's up, Cooper, man? What's going on?
Not a whole lot.
Awesome.
That's
That sounds
Jan,
fantastic.
where are you from again?
Houston.
Oh, Houston.
Houston.
Sorry.
We already went over that
Sorry.
4 times.
I missed it.
Yes, you got a top 5 for us, Cooper?
Or a question.
Or a question?
I don't know. My top 5 really isn't any different from Finstock's.
Cool.
I guess I'll go ahead and say Spectre at. Let's go ahead and say 85 million.
Okay.
Okay.
That's about where I had it.
Awesome.
And a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. hit
I
us.
don't know. I'm just really looking forward to Creed. I've
Yeah.
been watching all my Rocky movies, catching up with that.
Yes.
And
That's all you.
I'm just trying to figure out how much do y'all think that's going to make?
Ooh.
Cooper, you're
That's the strange
that's a
one.
great question.
It's so many people are
it's Thanksgiving Day.
Creed.
Yeah, Thanksgiving's
But-
a beast of a
It's
movie
a
day.
big
And I
holiday.
think a week before is Hunger Games, or
I
is it the
believe so.
same week? I think it's a week before.
No, it's definitely a week before.
Yeah, Hunger Games
It's
a week before. That thing is gonna be a monstrosity.
Ooh.
There's no way Creed's gonna be number one, even
No.
though it's number one in my heart.
You know what? I think Creed can.
This is what I'm gonna say about Creed box office. It's not gonna open up huge, but I think it's gonna have legs.
You think it'll
I
be-
think the reviews are gonna be really good.
I think it's gonna be like-
people
You
are
think-
gonna.
Do you remember people did for Snowpiercer?
Snowpiercer?
Yeah. Like,
What about it? Are
Like
you Creed-
people, no, I'm talking about word of mouth. Like they just
Yeah.
stayed for forever.
But that's a little different because that's an original film. This has Rocky Balboa.
Over under 40 mil.
Snowpiercer wasn't a sequel, is one thing, or anything.
It's
And
not
it wasn't
original,
a property.
it's off of-
graphic French graphic
Yeah,
novel.
yeah.
But I'm
Technically.
sure that no one I know has ever
It's a
read
Korean
that.
But it
film.
had legs.
It did, but I just think Creed is. I mean, I think Rocky Balboa, the last Rocky film, opened around like 35 million.
Do you think this is going to be over under 40?
I think it's gonna be under 40, but
Under
it's
40.
gonna have legs.
I think it's going to
keep
be
going.
over 40.
I hope you're right.
I think it's
God
going to be
help
Mad
me.
Max numbers.
Listen, 20 million is gonna be for me in Finstock alone.
There
So
you go.
I just hope it has legs, and that's if it's a good movie, that I think it will, because good
Yeah.
movies are the ones. Look at
But-
The Martian. Look at The Martian.
It could be a good family movie too.
The
And
movie
it's
has
Thanksgiving.
yeah,
So.
and The Martian has an plus something, like freaking cinema score, and the reason why it's been number one 3 weeks in a row is because there's been crap out. Now, yeah, Thanksgiving there's gonna be a lot bigger franchise type
Families.
movies.
Yeah.
Well, you've got the week before is Hunger Games Part 2,
Yeah.
also something called The Night Before and The Secret in Their Eyes. And then with Creed also comes out The Good Dinosaur.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Family
which
crap.
family craziness.
'Cause Creed could be
Pixar
a
can pull to
family
anyone,
type-ish
but
movie.
Good Dinosaur
Yeah,
will
Good
get
Dinosaur's
it.
gonna
And
take
then
that.
also Victor Frankenstein.
Yeah, Victor
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein's
That's
gonna bomb. It looks horrible. The trailer.
It doesn't look horrible.
I've been in theaters where that trailer played, and everyone's just like, "What was that?"
I don't know.
I think
I think Landis is a good writer.
I think he is too, but unfortunately, he didn't make or direct the movie.
There's also
true. Not look good.
The Danish Girl might be coming out.
Oh, that's an
some
Oscar
such, but
grabber.
that doesn't know if it's wide or
I think
limited
it's
or
limited.
anything. yet.
Listen, Hunger Games
see.
and The Good Dinosaur are going to be two monster
This is true.
box office
Yes.
movies.
True.
Pixar is coming off Inside Out. Dinosaurs obviously are huge this year. Jurassic World has showed us that.
Everyone loves dinosaurs.
I think it's gonna have it's not gonna make a
Yeah.
bunch of money, but it's not a big budget film.
That's true.
Creed was not made for a lot of money, and I think it'll end out and was domestic close to 100 million.
How much did Balboa make opening weekend?
Balboa made about 35.
Okay,
And
I think it'll be
I think it'll be around
I think
there.
it could be around Balboa numbers, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm still hoping over 40.
It really depends. Hunger Games is just gonna destroy though.
That's true.
Listen, I'll see Creed a bunch of times. That's all I care. It can make no money as long as I get to see it.
Your answer to your question about how much JT doesn't care about how much money. It's more about how much money is he going to have left in his bank account
Yes.
Yep.
after that movie comes out, which might be $0.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's gonna be this is gonna be one of the best Thanksgivings ever.
Yep, it's gonna be awesome, man.
Thanks,
All right.
Coop, for the
Cooper,
question,
thank you so
man.
much for
Thank you,
calling
Cooper.
in.
I love
Houston.
talking about Creed. Thank you.
All right, everyone. That was our final caller of the
Yeah.
day.
Ah.
We do have to wrap up and get out of here. Thank you for
Also,
Ace.
yes, the
Thank
Ace.
you,
The fifth
Ace.
option of today for co-hosting.
You were not my fifth
That was
option.
fifth
You were
option,
JTE's
but-
fifth option.
I also want to give a
Let's place
shout
the
out.
blame.
I want to give a shout out to everyone that came out to Kamikaze today.
Yeah, shout out to Kamikaze.
It was amazing for me and all you guys, and I got to see Grumpy Cat in person.
Cool.
And that was an amazing moment.
Shout
in
out to my
life.
mom. Hola, ma.
Hopefully, you guys all had a wonderful Halloween. And thank you for watching us. Please tune in next week and vote. Or not vote.
What do we vote for? Vote with your dollar and see a good movie.
Election.
No, subscribe.
Subscribe.
Do those things
Yeah.
that I'm supposed to say.
Yeah.
But don't remember because I obviously want you to vote about something. Anyway, thank you for joining us here at Popcorn Talk on Box Office Breakdown.
Cool.
See you
Thank
next
you,
week.
guys.
Peace.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.